This is Hanad Darwish, a 24-year-old British Somali who's standing in the local election for Lansbury Ward in the borough of Tower Hamlets. He's a candidate for the Conservative Party and one of many British Somalis who are changing the political narrative of this community.
I think my house was always really politicised from a young age, so you'd have my uncles, like my uncle was with us today, and my other uncle always discussing politics at home, whether it was like, I think more on an international level, so like stuff around, and even at a young age, grow up listening to that. And so I think obviously I had that, and then politics back home was always discussed, so those things, but then it never really was, I think, up until, it was in 2010, I'd say, when we had the first televised debates, and I was mesmerised, like, damn, that's really cool.
A lot of people could argue that you're young, inexperienced, should focus on your studies. What have you got? What sort of response do you have for those people?
I think that would be a really naive thing to say, because particularly if you look at the referendum, if you look at the last general election, young people, the assumption that they're apathetic or inexperienced, I think is just a silly notion, because I've pretty much been involved in politics for about 10 years, since I was about 15, so like, I think from that perspective, I've mainly locally grassroots sort of out campaigning, speaking to people, doing stuff with local issues. So I think definitely I have enough of a grounding, given that a lot of the issues affect me directly.
The majority of British Somalis came as refugees in the 90s, following the civil war in Somalia, and upon arrival they received all the support they required from the Labour government at the time. They had access to public services and were able to settle down and make a living, and make a place which they can call home here in Britain. How receptive are they usually when you first meet them?
I think they're quite happy to see a Somali, that's for sure. And then they'll ask you which party you're running for. And a lot of them find it quite interesting. I say the Conservative Party.
Right.
But then I think the fact that they're more elated that there's a Somali running regardless
I see.
is you are welcome for. So people are quite receptive. Even if they don't know much about local issues, they're more than happy to have a chat on the stuff that they do know something about.
I see.
Yeah, so it's good fun.
But will you still sort of convince them to vote for you?
Yeah,
regardless?
no, the thing is, we've leafleted across the whole ward 2 or 3 times.
Right.
So at this stage, we don't really need to.
I see. But I'm saying if you knock on the door and someone who's not Somali.
Yeah, we'll still have a chat with them. Yeah.
Right.
هم مش هضحك على حضرتك يا بابا. بقول حضرتك الصوير بتاعه.
أنا مش
عاو. والله كان ليه كل حاجة دي أنا تمام كده. يا. ليه كل حاجة والله كان دي أنا. أنا بتصير معك. ها. يا. كده يسمى في إن شاء الله. ها. وإن شاء الله وتنور إن شاء الله. كده. That's why you can't just have someone anymore. صبر دواي. أي. شرحنا. هذا نقدر عليه. أوكي. إلى. مش عارف. مثلاً. أيوة. حافظة مسؤول أحمر إنه. حافظة نقول شرحنا يموت.
اوكي.
طبعاً تلك الصوالة الصوبر تاع. لما قاعد يحكي لك يا غيره. عيان وضع ليس عندك صوان. وضع ليس عندك صوان. Usually labor.
Yes, ولا قبل.
عندنا نقول ذي كلام.
ولا.
أترى كان يقول لي.
لكن إيمك هذا. تبي تقول قبل هذا أوكي هو مو فوتي.
واو.
وين اللي يسكون دعني.
إني ما كان حافظ اسمه تبي تقول إنه يو. ما يقولون كذا. بيقول لا.
يا إيه ما أنا كسر فوس ما أنا فوق. عشان كل شيء قبل ويبصق عنهم ويبصق عن مقعد ولي يقف سومالي فوستي ما أعرف سومالي
هذا من نور الله مشرحين لكن يقولون إنك مش تصدقت ومسك ولا عشان حين ورشان تصدقت كان يطلع يعني بس ليبر كل مش وكنا بحاجة
لو ترى مو شو
هذا بقى اللي يقول دقتك بحياة
ayaad wada in jirta marka horeba
لا بفعل على الانترنت
sababta waa maxay
sababtoo markaan anigu waddanka imi just only in yaraan joogay markaan wax bartay anigu waxoogaa ogaaday wax kale ogaaday electionadii waxaa yar ogaaday levelka soo baxay marka dadka dhan waxay levelka u saxmay okay shaqo sameeyay wax buu sameeyay okay anigu waan iska oo dadna levelkiisii markii loo yiri levelka waan iska daba socon jiray level baan iska oran jiray laakiin iminka daaqadii ka baxay
كانت كهستي conservative party maxay tahay
anigu runtii wax idea kama haysto laakiin waxaan u arkaa imka inay socdeen oo fodadkii ugu dambeeyay ayagu dadkii ugu riday oo ay dee soo kaceen ubanka ayaan arkaa marka anigu dee waxa meehidee qof maartay wax ka hayn aad waxa ku jirta miyo electionadii waxa ka shaqeeyay laakiin yani waxaad arkaysaa si u socdeen maartay oo xataa dad badan baa leebar daba carray leedna wali ma soo kacin
هل كلام ما دفوت كرر لهاد هذا تدفوت كرر ما سوت تدفوت كرر وحويان موبيل سومالي بس وحويان بوليسيجا
ما قفكي يعني wax soo saaray runtii walo food kareynaya ma doonay waxa laakiin qofkii wax soo saaray oo hadhowta aad oran karto walo fooday magaalada wad soo baxday haye maxaad sameynaysaa adigu oo dee lala aad garay qof inta dufooday daaqada ka baxay maxaad sameynaysaa ma garanaysid Soomaaliya
You never had a Somali candidate before? No, not the first one, so the candidate debate is like can I can your vote? Yeah, for sure, yeah, sure. Sweet. So I mean, let your parents as well. I can give you one or two more leaflets if you want. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. أنا وصلت في عشان ها لكن هذا واحد صغير أنا أعرف عارف إن أنا
usually vote Labour
Yeah, usually.
and the reason is why do you vote Labour
We're doing a lot. That's what we think. They're better than Conservative.
right
We believe.
right okay Hanad, what sort of issues do you think that would appeal to Somalis?
No, I think, given that it's a local election,
Right.
Locally there are a lot of issues. If you look at Christmas Street Market redevelopment, a lot of people have been basically given eviction notices without any consultation for redevelopment, and it was the Conservatives, Hagala, who basically stopped that all happening, the local Conservative Party leader. And I mean, if you look across the board nationally, Conservative-run councils have lower council tax rates, usually better run. But the thing is, in Tower Hamlets, there's been a lot of Labour mismanagement for years. And I think with Somalia, I'm not like how they're used to getting our vote. So that's why they don't probably bother looking at Sugar but then you'll go to Krais and you'll have a great man right in back.
Whoever we vote for in the end, we don't see any results.
Right.
Voting for Labour, this is the first floor right now.
Yeah.
Voting for Labour in this area doesn't make much sense. Because the thing is, the power in the council, we have independent parties, Aspire. Before it used to be Tower Hamlets first, and then that party was disintegrated for reasons electoral fraud, corruption, malpractice, all sorts. So now that's split into two parties for now, and they hold most of the seats in council. So like voting for Labour anyway, just misses the point, and there's no accountability, and they're quite similar in their views. So I think, the lady mentioned herself, we vote for Labour all the time, don't see any difference. The problem there is, they don't even bother engaging with Somalis in general, and I've noticed that across the board, even last year I was out during the general election. They're used to your vote, and that's the one thing, you look at other ethnic groups, and parties will make an effort to go and seek their vote, try to understand more about them, learn more about their culture, and make an effort to understand the issues that affect them. But when you constantly just give your vote to the same party over and over again, there's going to be a level of complacency somewhere down the line. Very conservative figures, but they estimate around 10,000 Somalis in Tower Hamlets. Definitely a lot more. But then if you had 10,000 voters who were all elected to vote, I think people would be more than willing to stand, set up and listen to what they have to say.
I see.
Yeah.
So one thing I've already noticed is that most of the people that he's actually speaking to, very fascinated with the fact that he's a Somali guy standing for local election, first of all, and for Conservatives, secondly. And yeah, they seem to be very supportive of him, based on the fact that he's a Somali person. It's quite interesting. British Somalis have always voted for the Labour Party, until recently. Now there are groups such as the Conservative Friends of Somalia, Somali Conservatives who are campaigning to get votes for the party. And in the process of doing that, they faced backlash from the community.
So partly it's habitual as well, because there's this perception that the Labour Party is just there for workers. But that is the Labour Party is not the same Labour Party that it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But then I definitely think that is changing more and more now, because we've got a second generation of people coming up. A lot of them are very aspirational. I think might have better understanding as well, given the fact that they're educated in this country, they've come through the education in this country, they've worked in this country, have a better grasp on local issues, national policy matters. So I think they're better grounded at making those kinds of decisions. Who should I vote for? Such as the Labour Party. So I think definitely that is changing. So there is a massive swing, particularly in London. You'll notice there are a lot of Somalis who vote Conservative, a lot of people who are members of the Conservative Party, and I think mainly because they're attracted to what they have to offer, and I think there is that generational shift. doorashada sharaxanaha waxaan dadka soo yara barataan oo soo gudbis insha Allah ha xagana musharaxta xafidinka
xafidaya
ha
la sharaxaysa xafidaya inaan ku wartay ma quraado salaamayo maxaa salaam maxay u baahan tihiin
may iminka ka sharaxanahay iminka doorashada soo socota insha Allah ha ya
qodadina واحد كسبت.
Any reason?
Yeah.
So later for the canal.
waxaan ku nacay anigu caruur yar baan haystaa oo aan balangareynaya jaamacadaha insha Allah galaan waa too expensive waa low income family baan hay kama bixi karno and so wax badan oo kale
Yeah, Robert or Canada. No, that makes sense. Like in locally, in Canada, marka laga hadlayo aad bay uga duwan tahay marka national laga hadlayo xisbiga. Laakiin localka qolada labor kana haysto.
laakiin localku baa soo saara ageena la socdo.
Yeah, to some extent. Laakiin no, even marka degtay door I know the student fees arkaan maraya. Marka jaamacada aniga lafteedu jaamacada dhigtay. Marka on dareem karaya laakiin at least some parts sidii looga soo kaban lahaa iminka thresholdkii dib loogu bixinayay maaragtay deyn kor baa loo dalacay marka ku yelaatay kun shan ilaatay kun oo gelimaad qaadatay ka dib u celinaysa waxay u farqado ka bedelay laakiin inaad waxaan ku faraxsanahay inaad garanaysid beeshuska xabtay waa in badan aan dadka la soo hadalnay milku ma sheegi karaya
laakiin anigu I hate conservative to be honest with you laakiin wiilkayga watay abaadu ku fodi karaa laakiin
So, what do you think about her answer? She said that she's against the Conservative Party.
I think hate was the word that was used. No, I think it was good. Not good for me, obviously. Like she was really engaged, so she knew about what affected her. In terms of policy-wise, we're getting into. So she was talking about how she's now preparing her children to go on to university. And in that sense, she believes that the Labour Party are better for her when it comes to that stuff. When she was speaking of local issues or the closure of like schools, like she was talking about some of the local community centres. It's really interesting because a lot of that was closed by the local council, which is a Labour-run council, as opposed to. It's really interesting because then the Labour Party was having to do cuts, but then our local authority has huge reserves, capital cash, which they could use for those things. But then, long story short, she was speaking about that. Really clued up about. She's been here for a long time so Thatcher, John Major, and saying how she saw that they were detrimental to her during that period. Yeah.
Do you think the Conservative Party is inclusive and welcoming? And if your answer to that is yes, why isn't it not reflective on, on those who do run the party?
Yeah, I would say yes. It is inclusive. There are efforts being made to recruit candidates from sort of diverse backgrounds. We have ethnic backgrounds in the UK, and I think more than any party, they are making an effort to actually reach out to communities, learn more about them, understand the issues that affect them, and in turn have candidates from those communities representing the Conservative Party in local elections, general elections, all elections.
How do you envision the future of Conservative Party in relation to British Somalis?
I think for me that question's quite exciting because I definitely think that we'll have the first Somali member of parliament. It will definitely be a Conservative before the Labour Party field have won. And I think, given by the fact that at the moment we've got quite a number of Somalis who are actively in the Conservative Party, who've actually been pushed out. There's quite a number of us who are now running as councillors, and quite a number I know who probably will be running in the next general election. So I think we'll definitely see a Somali member of parliament, possibly a Somali minister sometime in the future, who will be Conservative.
What's the likelihood of you winning?
And that's a really difficult one because I'm one of those people I believe anything could happen in an election. Even if you're like 100% certain you'll win, there are days where you walk out and like, damn, what happened there? But
Do you have high hopes?
I have hopes that I'll do well. If I'll win is a question for polling day, I'd say, during the vote count.